in a perfect world, you would stop and say, what's the right model to use here? And, you sort of understand what choices you're making. But that's a subset of the population that's able to think that through right now. The combination of confusing pricing plans at the individual level that are changing literally weekly, the enterprise level, the API path, the various models. The frontier model companies are making it harder for the enterprises that they want to serve and that they want to be their customers. They're making it harder for them to embrace this. And this confusion in pricing and sort of what you're really going to spend. I mean, we all learned a lesson during the sort of the cloudification
Exactly.
We're going to the cloud. We're going to the cloud. We're going to the cloud. Oh my God! I just saw my cloud bill, and there was a lot of pain and scars from that era that are now, we're sort of doing it again at some level. And yeah, there's a lot of hype over. I think it was Uber, the development organization. They saw their bill. They consumed the year's budget of tokens in their development organization in 4 months. Um, but I don't sense that the frontier model companies are sort of working yet to figure out how to embrace this and to make it simpler and to get past some of those scars and to help people sort of figure it out. And I get it, right? I mean, they need to sell tokens and they need to be profitable, and at some level, eventually, we're the subsidies and all these things that are going on are going to have to. It's going to have to work out, and they are going to have to be companies that are in the black. I get that, but there is a certain level of confusion and trust issues that are being built up in this arena where people just don't know what they're paying for and are getting surprised by the bill.
Yeah, I think Uber is a great example there because Uber was subsidizing for years to get people used to the idea of app-based ride sharing. And when they turned those off, prices doubled and people had gotten used to it though. You're like, well, the service has been working really well. I don't want to stop using it. And I'm very scared that that's exactly the playbook that the frontier models
In
are going
your
with.
Uber example, I know the price. In fact, I know the price before I commit
You do.
to
Yeah.
what I'm about to do, and I get it. These are not good analogs, but that's sort of so. Yes, it was a number before, and now it's double that. But in each case, I know that. In this case, it is completely a black box, and you
Yeah, but
scale that black box a
I'm
thousand
I'm going
times
to go
more.
back to Nicole's point. I'm going to go back to Nicole's point. I think what we're seeing with our clients, we're seeing in the industry. I'll say seeing in the industry is a lack of focus on the numerator.
I
And all it is, it's literally we're turning models loose and then praying. It's just a deploy and pray, right? And when it doesn't
That's right.
work, we end up, you know, stumped. And it worked for a while when the tokens were subsidized. But now this is a true, and it's just basic blocking and tackling. The more the world changes, the more it stays the same. And so there's a cost to these models and tokens, and you have to make sure you're getting the value. And so it's going back to the basics of building business cases. And so you're right, Jim. Maybe not everybody's thinking about the exact model, but I would argue it's even going back to just the basics of a business case of saying, okay, what are we going to get from this? And let's only do it if we're going to get the value that makes the investment worthwhile. And it's not just anyway. I
well,
You're exactly right. And that's exactly where I was going to go. I wrote down focus on priority business cases. You have to look at what are all the business cases you can consider. You have to go through that value viability proposition and decide which one am I going after. To your point, you can't just go after everything and hope for the best. Pick your priorities and go after them and understand up front the approximate ROI. Game that out before you start to the point of the Uber pricing.
well, I think
Guesstimate before you go.
there was a perception that we're going to roll this out and we're just going to get value and productivity from it.
exactly.
And you may or may not. And knowing whether you did or you did not is pretty hard to tell. And
Mhm.
largely that was based on the assumption that people will just be more productive. Maybe, probably, but it lacks intentionality around your business.